Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Peapod. I'm your host, Terry Angel. And why a Peapod, you might ask, if you've never been here before? Because the angels say that we are like peas in a pea pod. We are all like-minded and we're fed by the same source. And therefore, we come together. Whatever happens during this time together, it's all divinely inspired and loved on. And I've been doing this now since the first of the year, and I've had many people on that share their lives with us and share their missions here in their journey. So I have a very inspirational person today that I've met just recently, and I want to tell you just a little bit about her, and then I'll have her tell you more. But this is Ellen, I want to get your name right, Ellen. Ellen Bintz Meuch, and I'm probably thank you. And Ellen has worked with Labyrinth since 2000, when she was at a church who asked her to learn more about the practice so she could educate the congregation. So at that time, she was leading some classes at a jail for female inmates, and she saw how beneficial the labyrinth could be for the incarcerated. So in 2001, she trained to be a certified facilitator with the Labyrinth organization, Veriditas. And after creating a successful jail labyrinth program, she has since helped people all over the world get labyrinths into jails and prisons. She's a founding member of the Veriditas Council and founded the Global Healing Response in 2005. She's a board member of the Legacy Labyrinth Project, an organization that builds, connects, and uses labyrinths to create change in the world. I love that, Ellen. And, welcome, first of all, to the Peapod. I love labyrinths. I can't remember the first time I ever found one. I think it may have been around that time, around 2000 or maybe just a little bit earlier. But the first time I even saw one, I felt the energy of it. And then when I started finding out more about them and what it's all about, I just dearly fell in love with the energy of labyrinths. Now, I've talked to people recently who, believe it or not, do not even know what a labyrinth is. So I would love if you would share more about yourself and what is a labyrinth and what's the purpose of it and how do you work with it?
Sure. I hear both of those stories quite often, that people feel very powerful the first time that they do it, and that there are some people who have never heard of the labyrinth before. So I'm familiar with both. The labyrinth is an archetypal tool that is ancient. And the oldest labyrinth was found about 2500 BC on the Isle of Crete. And the history of it is rich, found in almost every society, archaeologically found society in some form or another. And that's what I like about it, is the fact that it comes from a lot of different traditions. And it's interesting that they have been found in different parts of the world, and yet the same archetypal design were created over the years. So there's something to it. And there are many different designs. Some people look at it and they think that it's a maze. And in some cultures, there's not a difference between the word maze and labyrinth, but they really are opposites. A maze is multicursal, and it's meant to confuse when you walk in it. Think of a corn maze, in the fall, and you get lost, and maybe the hedges are high. But a labyrinth is unicursal. There's only one path in and one path out. And if you put one foot in front of the other, you will reach the center. And then you can walk back out the same way that you came in. And it's my bad that I don't have a picture that I can hold up of a labyrinth, but anybody could Google labyrinths and find, you can even Google my name and find some articles and things about labyrinths.
So I know when you enter the labyrinth, there's a certain way, there's an entryway to go in.
There's one way in, and there's no right or wrong way to walk a labyrinth. I have a friend who says a labyrinth is space and time. It provides you sacred space and sacred time when you enter. And there's just a suggested way to walk. If you've never walked one before, just a suggestion. You will do whatever you feel called to do. That's a really important part of walking a labyrinth. And as you walk in, you kind of release. You release your tensions of the day, the things that you're thinking about. And I always tell people what I think is very important is to find the pace that your body wants to move that day, because it can differ every time you walk it. Honor your body and what it's calling you to do. Maybe walk really slow, maybe walking fast, maybe dancing, who knows? But find that rhythm and just kind of release the day and find your inner space. Then when you reach the center, it's often a time to receive. And so there's 3 R's that we talk about: release, receive, and reunite when you go out. But you stay in the center for as long as you're called. Sometimes, as I said, that's where you'll receive a message, but sometimes it can be anywhere on the labyrinth. That's not necessarily so. It's just many people will say they feel that's where the energy is the strongest. And then when you're ready, you walk back out the same way that you came in. And you think about the fact that you're going to have to step off this sacred space in this container. And how are you going to take how you're feeling, or maybe what you received, into the world? Because you're going to have to go back into the world. And that's just one suggestion. I've walked over 1,000 labyrinths, and I can tell you that every walk is different, and you never know what's going to happen when you walk.
I found a picture, so I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And let people see what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a labyrinth that looks like it was made out of rocks or shells.
Mm-hmm.
Where? So what you were, I don't know how to get rid of this bottom screen that's probably covering up some of it. But what you're talking about, like you see the person there, that's the entryway, right? Where,
yes.
Just right there.
You're entering the center right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when you go in to the entryway, you can go both ways.
No, you shouldn't. There should be, I think it's just covering it up. There's only one entryway.
Only one. Okay.
Yeah. There should be only one entry, unless there is a style called the reconciliation labyrinth, and 2 people can enter from opposite directions and they reach the center together. And then, the hope is that they reconcile or find some common ground and either walk out together or then go back out again. It's a beautiful labyrinth. Yeah.
So this is what most labyrinths look like, right? I mean,
this is a modified chart labyrinth. There's a classical, there's a Cretan, the modified chart, or maybe this is more of a classical, because of different traditions. Probably the most famous labyrinth in the revival, the most recent revival that Dr. Reverend Lauren Artris kind of started in 1994 at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. That has a Christian base to it because it's in Chartres, France. But there are labyrinths that come from every tradition. The Jewish Kabbalah is actually a type of labyrinth, and the Hindu yantra is a labyrinth. Man in the Maze, there's many different Native American types of labyrinths, and there are even more than that. But the one that I work with the most is the chart design. It's beautiful. It's an 11 circuit, so it's quite big. As I was telling you before we got on, I presented at the Parliament of World Religions yesterday. And not only did I have the privilege to present there on a panel, but my canvas labyrinth that thousands of inmates have walked is lying in the Parliament, and people can come and walk it all week long.
Awesome.
And I'm not there today because I'm here with you, but and at work, but I'm getting messages that people are finding it, and it's really important to them at the Parliament.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I have found that the ones that are like, I call them homemade, like the picture, somebody placed
Mhm.
in a certain way there on the beach. I found those carry such beautiful energy.
Mhm.
It feels like those are just coming from the heart in the every stone that was placed, everything that was put to create it just feels like it's bringing oozing power up from Gaia. Now I've walked on some that there's one particular in Florida that's inside of the sanctuary,
Mhm.
and it's like marbled black tile floor, and then the labyrinth is engraved in it. And that had good energy. But I think being outside with the labyrinth brings in more powerful energy. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I think that every labyrinth has its own energy, and there are people believe that even every labyrinth has its own consciousness. And we often refer to it in the female as, she, or because they hold so much wisdom. And as I was telling you before, too, Kaylin, my friend Kaylin Rain, who's a gifted geomancy, feels that they hold the memories of everybody who has walked. So there is if you want to go down that route, it's super fascinating to study the energy of labyrinths. But I agree. I feel that outdoor labyrinths have a different energy than indoor. Walking a labyrinth alone compared to walking in a group is different. And as you and I have talked about before, my passion is with collective healing and using the labyrinth in a group setting. But up until recently, it's been mostly used for personal transformation individually, and you walk and for your own focus personally, which is great. And I want that to continue. And I think it's a really important piece of the world of labyrinths. I just believe there's a next step that can be taken with the labyrinth, and the power of it can grow.
Agree. I've done many, many, many labyrinth walks now because I just am drawn to them. I love them so much. And what I found is every time that I walk the labyrinth, I have a question. So do you encourage people to do that, to have a
Sure.
question?
You mean before you walk, you have a question that you want answered? Absolutely. It's wonderful for that. Labyrinths are great for grief integration. To find focus. If you're confused about something, take it to the labyrinth and walk. It gives you that space, to really sink in and get centered and with source. So I think that's great. And sometimes I've had experiences where I've gotten little messages that I was not expecting at all. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
I know I've been surprised sometimes as I'm walking the labyrinth, and I think I'm seeking an answer to a question, and then I'll turn the corner, because that's what you do as you walk. You come to a place where you have to turn and you're going a different direction. And as I turn a corner, is something totally different pops into my head. And there's been times when I just get so emotional as I'm walking the labyrinth, and I know that I'm releasing as I go with each step. And I have this little thing that I say as I'm walking the labyrinth, every step of prayer. So every step that I'm taking throughout that whole circle of the intricacy of it, I just consider that a prayer, reaching out to spirit.
That's awesome. I love that. Everybody has their own way to walk. Mm-hmm. And labyrinths, are found in parks and hospitals and even some schools, of course, inside many churches, outside churches. They're in lots of different places. You can find them.
It's beautiful. And there is a way to locate them, right? There's a directory.
Yes. The labyrinthlocator.com is the worldwide labyrinthlocator.com. But if you put labyrinth locator, it'll come up in your search engine, and you can find it. And you just put your zip code in, and it will, tell you what's close by. It will tell you if it's public or private, if you need to contact the person to be able to walk. I have a labyrinth in my backyard, mowed in the grass, but I don't think I have it on the locator. But something like that, you might need to contact the people and say, may I come and walk your labyrinth? And then the public ones, of course, are open to everyone. It's a great resource.
Wonderful. So I know we have Deirdre on here who is helping us a lot with the 10 million for world peace. Deirdre, can you type in that link, please, into the comments? It's labyrinthlocator.com.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Right.
Awesome. So I know that there are private ones. I've been, like I said, to some indoor ones that are inside chapels and places like that. But you can find them. I know there's one not far from me here where I'm at in New Orleans at the moment. It's in a park.
I have
And
several friends in New Orleans who are facilitators. Yes.
yeah. And Deirdre says she will be scouting out one. Well, she's in New York. She's
That's
actually
in New York too. Yeah.
So I know there's lots of them there.
Yeah. I'm very lucky because I'm the coordinator for World Labyrinth Day. I've been for 3 years and I will be again this year. World Labyrinth Day is an initiative that was started by the Labyrinth Society in 2013. And on the first Saturday in May, it's World Labyrinth Day. And we start a wave of peace that begins in New Zealand and it ends in Hawaii. And everyone walks as one at 1 o'clock your time. So the wave goes around the world. But because of that, I get to know people all over the world and know the facilitators that are in different states and different countries. And it's really fun. I love the global piece of it for myself.
I want to do that this year. How about you guys? We have an audience here. You all want to participate in that?
Please.
And how do we participate? Tell us about it.
Yeah. It's very cool.
So do we sign up somewhere or to let you know?
If you, there's a website, beautiful website, worldlabyrinthday.org. There's so many resources and so much information on there. If you would like to host a walk, we have pre-World Labyrinth Day events to help you plan how to have a walk. There's resources like a press release or a template for a flyer that you can put up in your Starbucks or wherever if you wanted to find a public place where you could gather some people to do a walk at 1 o'clock. We give you everything you need to create an event, but you can also do it on your own if you'd like to. And you can do it with a finger labyrinth. And we have on the website, we have several different finger labyrinths you could print and do that too in the privacy of your house or on Zoom with some friends from all over the country or the world. You could get together and call each other at the same time and do it together.
Oh, we're going to do it. I see Deirdre saying yes, and she's my little go-getter, so she's going to help us to get this together. And I see us doing it on Zoom, Deirdre. I see a live event and broadcasting it on Zoom. So
and you can register your event on worldlabyrinthday.org. So people who come on searching to see if there's anything happening in their area, they could find you and that you're doing this or that you're doing a Zoom event so they can join. So it works both ways if you register it.
Okay, so Deirdre, can you type that in? It's
worldlabyrinthday.org. Last year we had 6 of the 7 continents. So I really need to get Antarctica this year. Anyone knows anyone on Antarctica?
Yeah, I mean,
that's my goal.
We are master manifestors here. The way you manifest is to see it real, hold it real, just keep intention out there.
Yep.
So let's do it together.
We had over 35 countries, over 210 events were registered. We know many more happened. And it was great. We think over 10,000 people participated.
Yeah. Well, I think our Peas for Peace is going to be doing a labyrinth.
Wonderful. That makes me very happy.
Yeah. And you said it was the first Saturday in May?
So it's May 3rd this year.
May 3rd of 2024. Okay. Write it down. I think I'm writing it down. I'll have to write it down after. I can't find a pen.
I'll remind you. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, this is exciting. Look, guys, we have a project to do, and I'm so happy that you're sharing this with us. We're all about peace. Our mission is called Peas for Peace, that we've been doing for over 3 years now together, and recently started the World Peace Experience, which you were so kind to help to allow us to record a video with you, an interview that we'll be showing during those 21 days of world peace.
Oh, awesome.
Remember?
Yeah, I want to support you guys as much as you want to support me. We all have to work together, right? I mean, that's my passion, is collective healing. And I use the labyrinth to fulfill my passion of collective healing. And I really think it's time that we all start working together, and there's so many great things happening. And I love hearing about what you're doing, and you're so gracious hearing about what I'm doing. And that's what's going to connect everything. And then there's going to be a tipping point.
Oh, absolutely. I know this in my heart. Yeah, I heard just recently that something came forth with a channeling from Nostradamus, and he said that there was going to be 1,000 years of peace. And I think we're ushering that in. I really do. I think that's what all this collaboration and this real push for peace on earth, I think we're ushering in that 1,000 years. And I'm excited about that.
I hope so. We deserve it.
We do. Yeah, we certainly do. I want to hear more about your global healing response, but you mentioned several times now the finger labyrinths. So tell us how that works.
Well, you can walk a labyrinth with your finger intentionally, on a piece of paper, or, I have several that are made out of clay or wood. And you trace the labyrinth, and it's just as effective as if you're walking it outdoors. And, for people who can't walk an entire labyrinth or make it outdoors or to another one, it's a great tool for centering and focus. And they're beautiful too.
Yeah, I want one. Because I love the labyrinth so much. And to me, is this special time to just let everything else fall by the wayside and just focus.
What? I have a very fortuitous thing to say. A friend of mine, Neil Harris, is retiring, and he has a business, relaxforlife.com, I think. And I just bought 2 18-inch finger labyrinths today because he's closing them out. They're unbelievably good deals on them. So if you want a finger labyrinth, head over to Neil's website.
Okay, tell me the website again.
Relax for Life.
Relax for Life.
And I think it's a 4.
Okay.
Relax for Life. Neil Harris is.
Well, I'll find it. Awesome. Yeah, and I love the concept. I had never heard of that until I talked to you earlier about the when we did the interview for 10 million. And I just love the whole concept that at any time, I don't have to go looking for a labyrinth. I can have one right there.
Right.
If I need to focus, ask a question, or just do a deep dive and have that time alone with spirit, I can just use my finger and walk that labyrinth. I love this idea. It really
9 years ago, my husband died of pancreatic cancer. And through that 9-month journey, because I couldn't leave him, there was a point that I couldn't, every morning I would do my finger labyrinth walk, and that sustained me during that time. And it was impactful. It was important.
Yeah, there's just something about that energy. And it's not just that you're spending that time focused, but it's also the movement. So I'm interested to see how it feels doing the finger labyrinth as opposed to actually physically walking it. And I know a lot of it is intention. So setting the intention that you're going to get what it is you're setting out to receive from the experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And research is showing that when you walk and when you're doing it with your finger, there's like in the chart labyrinth that I have, there are 34 turns in the whole thing. And they're showing in the brain that when you turn and make those, there is something that happens, a balancing that happens in your brain. So some of the research that's starting to happen with the labyrinth is really exciting. And we're even doing some about the collective. We've done some research on World Labyrinth Day. That's exciting, but that biological part of it is interesting too.
Yeah, that is. I've noticed that shift as I've walked them before. And there's been several times when I would come to that turn, and instead of like continuing the steps, I'll stop at that point and just stop and feel the energy and let it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. That I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's an important thing to honor when you're walking. It's not just the center where you want to stop. There might be a place that you do feel more energy than another place, and go ahead and stop and honor. A lot of times, there's so many times that people find metaphors when they walk a labyrinth, that it's a metaphor for their life. For instance, if you're walking with people and you're walking behind somebody and they're really slow and you're anxious or you're irritated. Well, there's nothing that says you can't go around that person, and just, you can do that, especially at a turn. Is a great place to just, cut in front and turn. Or if somebody's behind you. I once had a newly retired couple who walked together, and the husband was, on the feet of the woman the whole time, and she kept going. I thought, oh, I bet I know what's happening at home. So I said, you were driving me nuts. Can you just back off a little bit?
Right.
So there's, how do you feel when you're walking with other people? How do you step off the path, or do you want them to step off the path to let you pass? Because you will come face to face with people as
Yes.
they're leaving and you're going in. And so mindful of all those things. And someone the other day just said, you want to go to the center, but you don't always know how you're going to get there because of the turns. But you're going to get there. You will get to the center.
Yeah.
And just when you think you're getting to the center, sometimes the turn pulls you away. And isn't that like life? Sometimes, you think that it's taking you away, but really you're still on the path. You're still good. And another thing we like to say is you're not lost when you're in a labyrinth, even if you might step on a path that you weren't on and you're going to end up where you started, or you might end up back at the center. You're not lost, because you can look around and see where you are, right?
Absolutely. And I had a thought when you were talking about, going around people if they're too slow for you. Maybe that's because you need to slow down. Think about that.
Very true.
You have that thought of going to pass them, be in front of them. And it's kind of like, I drive constantly across the country, and there's times when I'm like, oh, this person just needs to get out of my way. And maybe that person was there to slow me down for a purpose. Maybe I didn't be in such a hurry, I could slow down and enjoy the journey. So maybe it's the same thing on the labyrinth. If you're finding that somebody hindering you going at a faster pace, maybe that spirit saying, okay, you need to slow the pace down.
Right.
So you really get the message that you're there to get.
And the flip side of that is I really like it especially when I was doing walks in the jail, I would whisper into the women's ear, find your own pace.
Yeah.
If you want to go faster, if you're stuck behind someone and your body wants to move faster, have the courage to go around them. They don't have to keep you from going the pace that you feel like you need to go. Don't let them stop you.
I love both of those thoughts.
Right.
To slow down yourself and to go at your own pace.
And I think individually, if you're on the labyrinth and you're supposed to slow down, you'll get that message.
Yes.
If you're on the labyrinth and you feel like I'm supposed to be a little more assertive and find my own pace, you'll know which message is the right one.
Yeah. Awesome. The other thing about labyrinths is that center spot. So I'd like for you to talk about that a little bit, because I know what I do, but I'd love to hear how you help people to understand the center of the labyrinth.
Well, because the labyrinth that I most often use is the Chart labyrinth. There's a rosette in the middle of it, and it has 6 petals. And there are a couple different philosophies of what those signify, either the rose of love or evolution. So the first petal, as you walk in the center to the left, is mineral. And then the next one is plant. The next one is animal. The next one is human. The next one is angelic. And the last one, my favorite, is the unknown or the unnameable. So when I get to the center, I like to go in all the petals and thank, I go in and I love my house very much and the bricks that make it. And I thank the stone of the earth and in my house. And then the flowers and the fruit, and I'm a vegetarian, so most of my food. And then the animals, my pets that I love, and then the humans would be my family, my friends, everyone. And then the angelic, the angels that protect me, and then the unknown are the unnameable I surrender to. So that's my process, unless I'm hit by a bolt of lightning and I realize I just need to stand still. And that can happen too.
Oh, I love that. I don't think I've ever been on one that has 6 petals. I've been on 4. That's the normal that I've found in the ones that I've been to. And so my process is when I go in, I'm drawn to one of those 4. So I stand and I honor that direction. I'm very connected to Native American energy because I have a Cherokee heritage. So I stand and face the direction, and now I'm directionally challenged. So I have to really say, okay, what direction am I in? But I just feel the energy and the angel of that direction and what the whole message is. Like if it's the east, that's the beginning point. Everything starts there. The sun rises in the east. So I just give honor to beginnings and then go to the other 3 from there and just keep turning and giving honor to the directions and honor to the earth.
That's beautiful. I love that.
It's unique. Our labyrinth experience is unique to each one of us. And
exactly.
if you choose to walk the labyrinth, then you'll find your way.
And there's no right or wrong way.
Exactly.
And that's what I love about the labyrinth, is that it's unifying and it meets you where you are spiritually. And it honors every person. There's no dogma to it. It's process. It's not dogma. So every religion, every faith can come together. And that's why I think it's the perfect tool to bring people together collectively and to use for the power of collective healing, which, as you probably have talked about, and because you're bringing 10 million people together,
Right.
the exponential power in collective healing when we gather and we're coherent and entrained, that power becomes exponential.
It sure does. That's why I'm so excited about the one in May. I can really get behind this, and we're going to put it on our calendars, you guys. Those of you who are following the journey and part of the Peace on Earth tour, I'm so happy to be doing this. I'm going to find that labyrinth that we're going to be at to do this. It's going to show up for us. The angels always bring the perfect things for us to focus on, to do.
Angels love labyrinths. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, they do. I know it was angels that brought me to the labyrinth in the first place and just helped me to see the benefit of doing it. So if you all that are listening have any questions for Ellen, this would be the time. Type them in the comments. If you have a question about labyrinths or anything that we've talked about, just type it in there and we'll see what Ellen can say about it. But I want to move on to your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, what was it called again? I just lost it.
Well, I trained in 2001, and right before 9/11. So when 9/11 happened, I kind of looked at the labyrinth community and was like, as a new facilitator, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do together? And people did beautiful things, but we didn't do it together in a unified way. And so I was thinking about this, and I actually went to Lauren Artress and told her my idea. I was at a retreat with her. She said, go for it. So I thought on it, how I was going to do it. And I introduced a very simple program. I knew I had to keep it simple. Kind of like when you plan your fire escape from the house, you plan it and you forget it. That's what I wanted this to be, because I didn't want to focus on disasters or emergencies. I just wanted us to be ready. So when there is an emergency or disaster, I create materials with a unified intention, prayer, and meditation, and a date and a time, kind of like World Labyrinth Day, which is in fact why they asked me to be the leader of World Labyrinth Day, because I had been doing this since 2005. And I introduced it to the Labyrinth community, and in 2 weeks, I had to implement it for Hurricane Katrina, which you were probably even still seeing the effects of in New Orleans, I would think.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, so that was our first response. Since then, we have responded over 17 times to tsunamis and hurricanes, fires, shootings, Uvalde, the Ukraine war. And if you think the world hasn't changed, I can tell you, I know for a fact that it has, because when I first started in 2005, we could do a response and it would be a while before we had to do another one. Well, pretty soon they just started coming too fast. The shootings, just the weather, everything. And we could not respond effectively as a community to everything all at once. So I morphed, we do that, we still do that. In fact, I think we're going to do a response for Maui and for the fires throughout the world, really. But we also needed something that was consistent, that people could call on all the time. So I created the Global Healing Resources, and there's a yearly theme. And then there's, I split it up into 4 different focuses. So each year there's four focuses. The theory being, if every facilitator, and there's over 10,000 of them around the world, did one of these walks in the quarter, that energy collectively would be impactful. So if you go to globalhealingresponse.com, all of the resources are on there. It's free. I would be honored if you used any of them. You can contact me if you have any questions, or if I can help you, for sure. I'd love to help you. So that has become an important part of the Labyrinth community, to have this unity. And I was doing it, just thinking this is great. Obviously, there are many, many powerful stories I can tell you about the healing that we provided, not only to the people who were affected by the disaster, but sometimes we have secondary trauma ourselves when there's these disasters or emergencies, right? So it helps the individual, and I think the world energy, to address that and to give people a place to put their grief or their anxiety over the event. But we also focus on sending healing to the place where it happened. And so that, like I said, that has become kind of an important, I'm very happy to say, important part of the Labyrinth community. I'm very, very proud that it still goes and people still use the materials. But I was kind of doing it just like, okay, this is cool. In about 2019, I started thinking about what I was doing, the collective healing. And I did kind of a deep dive into quantum mechanics and the science and the research that people are doing on community healing. The Institute of Noetic Sciences has done some really cool stuff. I use stuff from Heart Math Institute. I use the materials from Lynn McTaggart, and her Power of 8 book is impactful.
Yeah.
So I really became passionate about collective healing before COVID happened. Mm-hmm. And then as I watched, as people we couldn't be together, and there's exponential power. Let me explain it like this. If you point 3 speakers toward each other, you don't get 3 times the sound. If they're playing the same music, you get 9 times the sound. And that's called super radiance. There was an experiment. Are you familiar with the Maharishi effect?
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. They went in 1993 and 94, they went into Washington, D.C., 2,000 meditators, to see if they could lower the crime in the summer heat, and crime was rising. They did this very scientifically, and they anticipated that they would lower the crime by 20%. It actually lowered by 25% while the meditators were there. They duplicated the experiment 7 times in the Israeli-Palestinian war and got the same effect. What they were able to do, and 2 things happened. they were able to quantify that, but they also found that while the meditators were there, not only did crime go down, but people around them were affected by the energy. And they were able to quantify that it was the square root of 1% of the population is what it took for there to be an effect. So think about that. If you have 900 people, 1% is 9, and the square root of that is 3. So 3 people together who have the same intention, and I will go back to intention in a second, who are coherent and in train, can affect 900 people. That's why your project is so cool and so
exciting. Yeah.
It is exciting. And it's hopeful. If we all knew these numbers, if we knew that we can make a difference just by doing this. And I love to remind people the difference between coherent energy and incoherent energy. So coherent energy is the emotions that are love and compassion and grace and forgiveness. Those resonate higher. They just do. I mean, scientifically, they've proven this. The Heart Math Institute. And the incoherent energies are fear, anxiety, anger. I'm sure you can think of a few. They just don't resonate very high. So a light bulb is made up of incoherent energy. And you know how much light that gives out. A laser is incoherent energy. And we know how powerful a laser is. A laser is what they do surgery with. You know, I mean, a laser can kill you. That is the difference between the power of love and the power of fear. And we think fear and anger have power. They don't. They really don't. If we stay in this feeling of love and peace and compassion is the feeling that opens your heart, so it makes it even better. It's just so much stronger. It's the hope, right?
Yes.
And if people could understand that and kind of get that in their heads, I think that's where the tipping point is going to happen. The possibilities are endless if we can take this concept and let people know.
They certainly are. And, you know, I always say we have a choice. If we feel fear, feel it, acknowledge it, honor it, but don't stay there. Make that choice to say, no, I don't want that in my life. I'm choosing to raise my vibration. I'm choosing the energy of love and love that fear away. Don't resist, because what you resist, that persists. So
and that's a good point, because we there isn't good or bad in the incoherent and the coherent. It's not good or bad. It's just powerful. It's like, this is red and this is blue. It's just a fact. But yes, sometimes we do have to feel the fear. And I have 4 kids, and I would tell them, feel the feeling, walk through the room of the feeling, but don't sit on the couch. Keep going.
I love that. I got that one. I'm going to quote you on that one.
Okay. And that's how I see it. But if you understand how much more powerful you are, if you're in, you know, the higher vibration of love, you have a little bit more motivation to get there. Yeah. If you understand the impact you're going to have on the world. Like I tell people, when you have your little tantrums, and we all do, all of us do, we're human.
Right.
That energy stays out there. And we're responsible for that. In fact, Heart Math has just come up with the term of energetic responsibility.
Ooh, okay.
Of what we put in the field. We are each responsible for what we put out in the field. And we're not going to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But we can try pretty hard. So the labyrinth is a great place to be energetically responsible and find your focus and find your center. But it's also a great place to bring a group together and become, and when a group is coherent, that's called entrainment. So you can bring a group of people together who don't even know each other. And in a very short time, with the labyrinth and talking to each other and, working it, you can become entrained. And then if you add a common intention to that, a single intention, that is powerful, exponentially powerful, that you can, and that's the basis of labyrinth activism, which is that's what I'm doing right now, is contemplative labyrinth activism with the Legacy Labyrinth Project. We have come together because they build labyrinths all around the world and connect them energetically. And I have the global healing response that connects people energetically. And we've kind of come together to work together. And it's a way, I believe, powerful change can happen peacefully.
Yeah.
That's personal.
I'm still on board with you. I just have this draw, and I know that I'm going to be interacting with you with these projects, and especially the World Labyrinth Day, that I'm getting very excited about already. But I just love everything that you have shared with us, all of the explanation of how a labyrinth even works and how we can bring forth more beautiful energy with everything we do, everything.
Well, I'm so grateful of everything that you do. You do a lot of work and it's a lot of energy. It's beautiful. You do it with so beautifully and so graciously and with such love. You are role modeling a really important thing for a lot of us, that you're doing it. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's an interesting journey that I've been on. It'll be 3 years on 911 next month that I've been on the road, and just meeting people, greeting people, educating people, what we can do. It's like we have so many can'ts in life, but there's endless possibilities of what we can do. And that's what we're getting into now, is pointing out all the possibilities. And this one especially is so beautiful, and just the whole flavor of it feels yummy. To know that you're not just going on a little walk or walking a maze, just the labyrinth, but you're actually doing something. And I know I'm part of Heart Math as well, and one thing that I learned working with Heart Math is that everything we say, everything we do, our thoughts, our energy, it goes out from us. It doesn't stay contained in this body. It goes out into, I call the collective soup of all energies of everybody on the planet. So we're either adding to the problem and lowering the vibration in that collective soup, or we are increasing the frequency and raising it to a higher vibration. And that's what you're calling the tipping point, is when more of us are raising up that vibration and focused intention of raising the vibration, then we are going to see peace on earth. Yeah, there will still be struggles, but it's not going to be anywhere near what it is now with the conflicts and the crime and all that's going on. So, oh my gosh, Ellen, I have loved this time together. I can't believe it's already flown by. And I want you to just take a moment, if you would, and tell people how to reach you and how, well, we've given your links. Thank you to Deirdre, who is so beautiful at sharing out the links when we have sent them. But if you would tell how to get in touch with you, and if anybody wants to learn more about the Labyrinth projects and get more involved, then please tell us how to do that.
So there's the website, globalhealingresponse.com. If you're interested in joining the Labyrinth Activist Network, go to legacylabyrinthproject.org, and under projects, there's the Labyrinth Activist Network, and you can join. It's free. There's no charge. And I conduct a monthly circle with other Labyrinth activists. That's fun and invigorating. We talk about our projects and what we're doing and what we hope to do. And I usually always have some type of little inspirational piece with someone. So we'd love to have you on that if you're interested. do you want my email address? Is that okay?
Yes, would like to give that. We'd love to have it.
Sure. My email is MEUCH, my last name, at msn.com. And you can reach me that way. Also, if you have any interest in jail or prison ministry, I would be happy to help you with that. Don't make the mistakes I made. And I have lots of materials that available for you to use on that.
Yeah, we didn't get into that very much, but I know that's a big ministry. And thank you for what you do there, because it is so needed. And this is another way to be of service to people.
Mm-hmm.
And Deirdre, I love Deirdre's comments. She says, I do believe you both have upgraded my awareness and excitement to a whole new level. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Deirdre. I appreciate you so
if you
much.
remember one thing from the day, just remember how powerful love is. It really is the highest power. And scientifically, I mean that scientifically.
Scientifically, and I'm a student of Course in Miracles, and we learned that only love is real. You know, that's the only real thing that we're going to have eternally. All this other stuff, it's just our lessons.
Yeah.
You know, send our blessings. So thank you again, Ellen. This has been so beautiful.
Thank you for having me and listening to me.
Yeah, I think I want to have you back before we do the World Labyrinth Day. Let's get back on here just before that and get more people aware of it and get more people involved in it. And our P's are going to be there with you. I'm so excited.
That'd be great.
Well, thank you again, my friend, and thank you to everyone who tuned in today. If you liked what you heard today, share it. Share it with someone so they can find this wonderful information. We'll have all the links in the printed description of the program, where you can just click on it and go to those. And Deirdre's been so great about putting them in the comments. So all you have to do is click and go check it out. And please remember our project of 10 million for world peace. Every Sunday at 1:11 p.m. Eastern Time, we bring you a guided meditation. It's only 7 minutes of your day to make a difference, to impact the world. And starting September 1st of this year, we'll be going daily for 21 days. We'll come on and do a guided meditation for 7 minutes. We also have beautiful interviews, such as the one that I did with Ellen earlier, and you'll be hearing more of that because we'll be sharing those interviews throughout the 21 days. So thank you again. If you haven't joined us yet, go to 10millionforworldpeace.org, and Deirdre has shared that link in the comments. And there's a button that says join us. And that's what we would love to see happen. Ellen has already explained to us the exponential benefit of adding more people in to join our efforts together. So we're excited about it, and we want you to get excited as well. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in, everyone that shared it, everyone who will listen later. And blessings to all of you. Stay in your hearts, stay in the love energy in your heart, and stay blessed. Thank you so much again, Ellen. My love to you. And I'm just so appreciative of all that you brought to us today.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye now.